Medical debt on your credit report, how it may be affecting you, and things that you can do in order to help use this information to take your credit to the next level. I'm going to read this article verbatim, then I'm going to discuss some things that you can do to take your score to the next level, whether it's medical debt or something else. But this is good to know, because if you've already seen some of my content, or if you haven't, my perspective on medical debt is that it should not be negatively impacting someone's credit. Why? Because really it's not a true testament of somebody's ability or inability to make on-time payments. Medical debt appearing on a person's credit report typically comes from things that were unpredictable, not from an application they applied for, or a loan that they agreed to pay on, or some type of credit card. It was an unforeseen circumstance that happened, and as a result of it, something may have ended up on their credit report due to that situation. Plus, when it's reported on a person's credit report, a lot of times it may be in violation of the HIPAA law, which is exposing their personal information to all of these different data collectors who breach our data left and right, up and down. So that's my perspective. So I want you to be able to clean those things up. And this is an updated article. Initially, it was issued out in July, but it was updated in September. So let's talk about it. The latest on keeping medical debt out of credit reports. Now, about 15 million consumers have medical debt on their credit reports, and it is controversial whether such bills should be included on credit reports, because the medical debt is often unplanned, unavoidable, and unaffordable, as mentioned before. Study after study finds that medical debts have little to no predictive value as to whether a consumer will repay a debt. In many cases, the debt may not even be owed, or the amount may be inaccurate. Medical billing is particularly problematic given the complex interface with insurance. That's a fact. And let me interject real quick from a real life story. I had a scenario where I got dehydrated, passed out of town at a event, so to speak, and ended up having to have an ambulance. I was good by the time they came, and, conscious cracking jokes, all of those things. And my insurance was supposed to cover all of it, but I was out of town. So it was a unique scenario that I disputed. Then they came back, disputed again. They said, okay, it should be waived, should be no problem. But it kept coming back because of the disconnect with me not being in my state, me being out of town. It was a whole debacle. But I definitely can relate and understand personally just how this thing operates, and in many cases it's inaccurate information that's being reported, just to be honest. So the response to criticism of medical debt on credit reports has been threefold: rulemaking by the CFPB, state legislation, voluntary actions by the big three credit bureaus. The credit bureaus are officially known under the Fair Credit Reporting Act as the Nationwide Consumer Reporting Agency, also known as the CRA. And it's important to note that they are consumer reporting agencies, not credit bureaus. That's a whole nother conversation, but consumer reporting agencies. So this article brings readers up to date to the latest developments on all three fronts, yada, yada. Now, credit reporting agencies voluntarily limit reporting of medical debt. In 2022, nationwide, CRAs agreed to three changes to reduce the amount of medical debt in credit reports. Number one, they're refraining from including medical debt in credit reports if the debt is less than 1 year delinquent. That's number one. Number two, removing paid medical debt from credit reports so that there would be no indications that these debts were ever in default. Number three, omitting any medical debt under $500 on credit reports. Medical debts under $500 will never be reported, even if unpaid and even if in collection. This change took effect in the spring of 2023. So do any of these seem like they apply to you? Do you have some medical debt that's being reported that's under $500? Then there may be something that you can resolve. Is it any debt that's included on your report that's less than 1 year delinquent? That could be something that could be resolved. Not could be, should be resolved. And basically removing medical debt from credit reports so there would be no indication that these debts were ever in default. Is that something that, that you've dealt with as well? So in 2025, the nationwide CRAs also are voluntarily offering free credit reports once a week instead of once a year as required by the FCRA, which most people are able to pull their reports very often now, especially with all of the things that are happening with credit profiles. It's important to look at your profile more than just once a year. Consumers should regularly order a free credit report from each of the nationwide CRAs to ensure that the CRAs are complying with these voluntary policies and with the state limits described below. Plus, if you have some type of FCRA violations, my team, my legal team, could position you to get up to $2,500. If you're interested in that, drop FCRA down below. If you're interested in assistance with taking your credit to the next level, drop Credit Fix down below. So FCRA, if you want to see if you have some type of violation on your report and want my legal team, no cost, no out-of-pocket cost to you, to see if you qualify for up to $2,500 based on a violation, or if you need assistance with taking your credit to the next level, comment Credit Fix down below and I can get you plugged into our community or see if it's a way that we can help you directly. Now, importantly, one should obtain a free credit report from the central source and not by opening an account with an individual CRA that might require the applicant to agree to mandatory arbitration of any dispute they have with the CRA. So basically what that means is if you open up a account directly with one of the main three, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, it could be something in there that automatically mandatorily has you to agree to what it is that they want you to do. Now, a lot of times in my verbiage, I'm making sure that I protect clients' rights by saying, hey, especially when I send out a letter first, I've already sent out the letter. Now, when it's time to do anything on the inside, I'm saying, hey, this does not waive any of this person's rights. This is just a follow-up to what has already been addressed via mail. Very important to have that separation so you're not just falling victim to their obligations. Obtain the credit report with the central source in any of these ways. You can order online through the annualcreditreport.com, call this 1877 number, or by mail with the annualcreditreport.com link that's shown there. New court rulings on the CFPB medical debt rule. So a federal court in the Eastern District of Texas has just vacated the CFPB's medical debt rule in its entirety. And that's something worth looking into. The Cornerstone Credit Union League versus, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau 2025. If you want me to do a video where I go over that, then just let me know and I'll do it. But that's something worth looking into because I got to give you some homework if this is something you really want to dive into. The CFPB issued the rule January 2025, and basically it went over the details. The rule prohibits CRAs from including medical debt information in consumer reports when those reports are provided to creditors for the purpose of making credit determinations, and that's oftentimes what they do. It also forbids creditors from considering medical debt information when making credit decisions. So they shouldn't even be considering that as a part of whether or not you qualify for whatever it is you're trying to qualify for. After the rule was challenged in federal court, the court granted CFPB's request under a new director to stay the rule's effective date, while the CFPB reevaluated its positions on the rule. Soon thereafter, the CFPB and the plaintiffs filed a joint motion for consent judgment in which the parties requested the court, pursuant to their agreement, to enter a final judgment vacating the medical debt rule. After allowing for the intervention in the case of other parties represented by the NCLC, the court found that the rule exceeded the CFPB's statutory authority. The court granted the motion to vacate the rule in its entirety. Back to the court case listed up above. And then it says the impact of the court's decision is to vacate the rule nationwide and prohibit the CFPB from enacting a similar rule in the future. So the 15 states are already limiting the debt reporting. There are 15 states that are doing so. And here are those 15 states, just so I can brush through this: California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, and Washington. So I'll just end there. But the fact of the matter is, medical debt should not be causing a negative impact on your score. And it's a good chance that if you have some medical debt reporting, then it should and could be removed. If you need assistance, there should be some links below so you can get access to the community where we talk about overall credit restoration and showing you how to have a quality credit score outside of just medical debt, but not limited to you understanding things that can be done in terms of how to go about disputing negative items on your report. If you need assistance, you know what to do. So do what you know. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.